Hello and welcome to my channel Manish Kumar on important topics, and today I am going to discuss a very important topic, a very important, you can say a very important stuff kind of thing related to the subjects of BCom semester as far as the auditing is been concerned. In this video I am going to discuss the 50 plus important short answer questions with its answers in front of you. I have written all the questions you are seeing on my screen, and I will read each and every question with its required answer. So stay tuned, stay listen this question, and stay listen with carefully what the answer I am going to speaking in front of you. So this is the list of the question. You can take a view of it. This is a kind of an important question as far as the short answer questions of the auditing is being concerned. So here there is 53 questions I am going to discuss in front of you with its answer, and I request you to please write each and every kind of answer in your notebook. So let's start this video with a very important stuff and very important question as far as the auditing examinations are being concerned. So let's take the first question, which has been asking here, that what do you mean by reserve? So my friends, the answer for this question is, it is a provision created for liabilities out of profits. It is the part of the profit which is not distributed, rather ascertained within the firm to meet future uncertainties. It is also known as retained earning. I repeat this answer once again. It is the provisions created for liabilities out of profits. It is the part of profit which is not distributed, rather ascertained within the firm to meet future uncertainties. It is also known as retained earning. So this is the kind of a small answer as far as the small questions are being concerned. So this is the perfect answer for this first question, which named is, what do you mean by reserve? Next question is, what is auditor's certificate? Auditor certificates, the answer for this question is, it is a kind of a document which is issued by an auditor when he certifies any financial statement about its truthfulness and its 100% correctness. Then it is issued to a company. I have created a separate video on each and every kind of topic in a very vast way. So you can just check out on my channel. Every video has been posted by me regarding the investigation, divisible profit, cost audit, civil liabilities, special audit, auditor certificates, auditor reports. Every separate videos with a larger amount of explanation is been posted by me on my channel. So do watch all the videos and stay tuned with Manish Kumar on my important topics. Now I am moving towards my third question, which is define investigation. Define investigation means the term investigation implies the examinations of accounts of business for some specific purpose. It is done mainly for, first point, to disclose the true position of affairs in relations to special matters, and second point is to detect the undetected frauds. This is the you can see this is the answer for this question. Next is, what do you mean by special audit? Special auditor. As per the Companies Act 2013, central government has power to appoint a special auditor of a company for a specified period. It is appointed in central government wants to audit. It is appointed if the central government wants to audit any particular company. So the auditors appoints from central government. For this purpose is called a special auditor. I repeat this answer. As per the Companies Act 2013, central government has power to appoint a special auditor of a company for a specified period of time. It is appointed by the central government if the central government wants to audit any particular company. So the auditor appointed by the central government for this purpose is called as special auditor. Next is, what is joint auditor? Friends, joint auditor refers to audit of a financial statement of a business by more than one auditor. Such auditor is called as joint auditor. They are usually appointed by large scale business with the motive of to finish the audit work as quickly as possible. So they audit jointly and do reporting to the entity. So this is the perfect answer for this question, which is named as, what is joint auditor? Next is, define cooperative society. It is registered under Cooperative Society Act 1860. An auditor of a cooperative organization is appointed by the Department Registrar of Cooperative Societies out of the panel compelled with the office. This is the answer for this question. Next comes, what is management audit? It deals with the evaluations of efficiency of performance of management in organization. It has been thought that the professional accountant should also concern themselves with the efficiency of their clients' enterprises rather than exclusively on financial accounts and records prepared by this organization. I have created the separate video regarding the new trends of auditing, in which I have explained you about a full detail regarding management audit, cost audit, as well as tax audit also. Next question is, what is cost audit? It is an audit process or verifications of the cost of the manufacturing or productions of any article. The basis is the accounts relating to the use of material, labor and other items of cost maintained by the enterprise under auditing in accordance with the general accepted principles of cost accounting. Next comes, what do you mean by the divisible profit? The term divisible profit can be determined correctly as these profits which are legally be distributed as dividend after fulfilling the provisions of articles of associations of company. Preference shareholders are having first priority to take after the equity. After that only the equity shareholder will going to share the amount of profit. I have also created a separate video regarding the divisible profit as well and dividend as well. Next is, what is the special audit of a company? It comes under section 206. When central government order a special audit of a company accounts for a specified period without giving the company or its management an opportunity of being heard is called a special audit. It can be done due to any of the following reasons. What are those reasons? The first reason is when the affairs of business are not managed with the principles. Second, the financial position is dangerous and resulting moving towards solvency. And third is when industry got damages, serious injury in trades and industries. Next is, what is civil liability? A civil liability is that which arises from a civil actions for damages, and the auditor who is found to have failed in the performance of his duty is required to pay damages or compensation or as ordered by the court. Next is, what is qualified report? When the auditor concludes on the basis of audit evidences that the financial statement as a whole are not free from the material misstatements, or the auditor is unable to obtain sufficient and appropriations audit evidence to conclude that the financial statements are free from material misstatements, is called as qualified report. Next is, what do you mean by the interim audit report? The report which is submitted by the auditor in the middle of the year for some special purposes is known as interim audit report. Generally, this type of report is prepared to declare the interim report also, interim dividend also. What is known as general reserves? The reserves which is created by the appropriations of revenue profit for general purposes. No purposes is indicated with such a reserves and as expressed as general reserves. It is actually kept to meet future needs like paying of dividend, to set specific losses and to strengthen the company's financial positions. Next is, what are the qualifications of company auditor? What are the qualifications of company auditor? Qualification of auditor comes under section 141 subsections 1 and subsections 2. And under this, what are the qualification of auditor? I have prepared also a separate video regarding the qualifications of auditor. But as far as the short answer question is been concerned, I am going to explain you the 3 point of as far as the qualification of auditor is been concerned. In this, the first qualification is a firm of a CA. He should be a firm of a CA. Next is an individual who is CA, an individual who is chartered accountant under Chartered Accountant Act 1949. And third is LLP partner who are CA and authorized to sign act on behalf of the firm. Next is, if I talk about its disqualifications of company's auditor as well, then there are some points also. You can listen these also. First is a body corporate other than LLP. Second, an officers or employee of the company. Third, a person or his relative or his partner who hold any security the face value of which exceeds 1 lakh in the company, its subsidiary, its holding or its associated company. Fourth, a person who is full-time employment elsewhere. And fifth and the last, which is disqualifications of auditor, is a person who is relative is a key managerial personnel of the company. So this is the qualifications and disqualifications of the auditor. Next comes write short notes on remunerations of auditor. It comes under section 142. Under this, the first point is fixations of remunerations, which is a remunerations of the auditor of a company shall be fixed in its general meeting or in the member as laid down in the meeting. If the first auditor is appointed by the board of director, then the remuneration is fixed by board of director. Then comes second point, which is expenses include in the remunerations. Look, expenses here includes fee payable to the auditor, expenses any incurred by the auditor in connection with the audit of the company, and any facility extended to him. However, the remuneration shall not include any amount paid to the auditors for any special kind of services rendered by him at the required of the company. Next is, what do you mean by clean report? When the auditor is fully satisfied then the financial statements are prepared in all the materials respects in compliance to FRF applicable, and there is nothing objectionable in the books of accounts, then he gives a report called unmodified report or a clean report or unqualified report. Next comes, what do you mean by the government company? A government company is one in which not less than 51% of the paid up share capital is held by the central government. One or more state governments or jointly by the central government, and one or more state governments should be there in this company. Next is, what are the legal provisions for declarations of dividend? The provisions of the Companies Act 2013 regarding the declarations and payment of dividend are as follows. First is meaning of dividend, procedures. Third, source of dividends, which comes under section 123. Next is transfers to reserve, section 123. Declarations of dividend out of reserve. Then provisions for depreciation. Next is mode of payment of dividend. Next, deposits of the amount of dividend. Next, dividend declared but remaining unpaid. And next, penalty for non-payment, which comes under section 127. The explanation of each kind of topic which I have said in front of you, likewise these explanations of these kind of topics is been said by me in a separate video I have created and posted on my channel, which is kind of a dividend and divisible profits. The topic of that video is dividend and divisible profits only. In that video only I have discussed each and every point which I will speak in front of you. But as far as the short answer question are concerned, you just need to mention these points only. Will that be sufficient for it? Next is, can the dividend be distributed from capital? According to the Companies Act 2013, no dividend can be paid out of capital, as it is expressly provided in section 123 that the dividend is only payable out of current profit or past undistributed profits arrived at after the providing for depreciation. Therefore, if the memorandum of association or the article of association even employer of the company to declare dividend out of capital, such powers becomes automatically invalid. The separate video is being created upon these questions as well, in which I have discussed 3 important questions. You can just take a look of it and write a notes of it. Next comes, what is special reserve? When a reserve is created for a definite purposes by the appropriations of revenue profit and the purpose is clearly expressed with the reserves is called as special reserves. Next is, what is the justification for special reserve? The following justification is given in regarding of concern of secret reserves, which are: first, to meet extraordinary losses; second, to hide management weakness; third, to strengthen the internal position of the concern; fourth, to without informations of the progress the company from trade competitions; and fifth, to provide protections in crisis. Next is, in what circumstances auditor certificates is essential? There are certain circumstances in which auditor certificate is considered to be necessary. They are for statutory report, for other purposes, for prospectus, for liquidations, and under control regulations. Next is, explain the term true and fair used in auditor's report. When the work of audit is over, an auditor has to give his opinion regarding the books of accounts of the organizations, as on that whether they represent true and fair positions of the firm or concern. If the auditor gives the clean report, it means that the books of accounts represent true and fair view of the organization. So it should be mentioned in the auditor's report, which tells that the organization's working is true and fair or not, whether organization is giving clean report or a biased report or not. Next is, what are the various types of auditor? There are 3 types of auditor. First is amateur auditor, which means those auditor who are not competent to discharge the work of audit efficiently, because they do the work of audit only for entertainment, not for money. Therefore, such persons should not be appointed as an auditor. Third comes government auditor. Auditors who audit the books of account of the government, companies or institutions are known as government auditor. And third is professional auditor, which means auditors who audit the books of account of different companies. They are not the employees, rather they are paid remuneration on the basis of contract for their work of audit performed by them. Next comes, what are the qualifications and disqualifications of the company's auditor? If we talk about qualifications of an auditor, then there are three qualifications I am going to speak upon as far as the short answer question is been concerned. First is, qualification is an individual who is CA under CA 1949. Second, a firm of a chartered accountant. And third, LLP firm partner who are chartered accountant and authorized to act and sign on behalf of the firm. Next is disqualification of an auditor. In this, first is a body corporate other than LLP. Next is an officer or an employee of the company. Next, a person who is full-time employment elsewhere. Fourth, a person whose relative is a director or a key managerial personnel of the company. And the fifth is a person or a firm who has business relations directly or indirectly with the company or its subsidiary or its holding or its associating company. So this is the qualifications, and this is qualifications of the company's auditor. I have said this before also. Next comes what is inquiry. What do you mean by inquiry? It consists of seeking information of knowledgeable persons, both financial and non-financial, inside or outside the entity. Next comes what do you mean by tax audit? I have created one special video on tax audit. You just check on my channel. What do you mean by tax audit? It refers to an audit of income and expenses or specific claims of deductions or exemptions for the purpose of assessment of income tax. There are specific needs of tax authority which are not being able to fulfill by the financial auditing. So tax audit are done for the companies. Next is what is social audit. A voluntary process of measuring social performance, the systematic evaluations through the wide coverage conducted from organizations working in social and ethical sector is called as social audit. Social sector like education, healthcare, agricultural, sanitation and rural development are included in social sectors. Next is what is audit committee. A committee of directors or corporation whose specific responsibility is to review the annual financial statements before submissions to the board of directors. The committee generally acts as a liaison between acts as an you can just say act as a mediator between the auditors and the board of director, and its activities may include review of nominations of the auditor, overall the scope of audit, results of the audit, internal financial control and financial informations for publications. Next is what are the reasons for popularity of audit committee. First reason, there are total 5 reasons which I am going to tell you about this question. The first is it will improve the financial reporting practices. Second, provide better control over accounts, finance and audit functions by board of director. Third, it increase the public confidence in financial statement as their credibility shall increase. Fourth, external auditor will deal audit committee and thereby his independence would strengthen. And fifth, which is the last, it is very useful in India because most of the large companies have outsiders directors from financial institutions. Next comes what is vouching. A separate video is also being created for vouching also. You can just check on my channel. What is vouching? Vouching acts as a backbone, soul, essence of auditing because by this the errors and frauds are deducted, transactions are actually related to business or not are found in this, and etc. It tells the truth of items appearing in the books of original entry. Books of original entry means journal books, as it is matched by the auditor with their respective entries. Next comes what is secret reserves. As hidden reserves not shown in the balance sheet, existence of secret reserves not shown true and fair positions of the financial affairs of the concern. It is maintained by the company to eliminate unhealthy competitions and also provide the additional working capital. Banking and insurance company has no right to create secret reserves as far as the Companies Act 2013 is being concerned. Next is what is fraud. It means the false representations or entry made intentionally or without belief in its truth to defraud somebody. In other words, fraud is an error made with fully or knowingly with the view to cheat others. I have created a separate video on frauds also. What are qualified? When the qualified report is prepared, there are total 6 to 7 reasons which needs to be taken into consideration as far as this question is concerned. The first is where the provisions for depreciation is inadequate. Second, if any transactions was not recorded in the books of account. Third, where the accounts contains material error. Fourth, where legal contraventions have occurred. Fifth, when a transaction has been treated wrongly in the books of accounts. Sixth, where the basis of valuations of stock or investment has not been uniform. And the last, where insufficient provisions have been made for the bad and doubtful debt. Next is what is efficiency audit. It ensures that the results are obtained are according to the plans. It is concerned with the examining the plans, comparison of the actual performance with the budgeted performance, and finding out the reasons for various sources to take the remedial actions. Next is what are the objects of cost audit. From the institutional point of view, if we ask about what is the object of cost audit, then the first is to see the proper and adequate cost accounting principles have been properly applied or not. Second, to compare the actual cost incurred with those attainable under efficiency audit. And third, to facilitate price fixation by the furnishing cost data. If you see from the government point of view, then first is to give protection to the industry, second to provide safety from tax evasion, third to provide safety of public interest, and the fourth, which is last, is to protect the interest of consumers. Next is what are the silent features of audit report. The main features are summary of work performed by the auditor, contains signatures of auditor, supplies belief and accurate information, fourth supply information based to determine the taxes, and the last is provide important suggestions to the management. Next comes what is the difference between audit report and audit certificate. Audit report, if you ask about this nature, then audit report it is an expression of opinion about the account, whereas audit certificate it is an confirmation of correctness and accuracy about some matters. Audit report's scope is wide and audit certificate scope is limited. The criticism on audit report is there, which is it may be criticized about its report which is presented by the auditor, but in audit certificate there will be no scope of criticism about the certificate which is being provided by the auditor. Next comes can the dividend be distributed out of capital profit? Yes, dividend can be paid in cash or a company can issue bonus shares. If paying in cash, the capital profit will come into the force and it can be paid from the capital profit but on some conditions, which is after writing off all the capital losses by it, you can pay the dividend from capital profit, and after the payment of all the debt liability, if amount remains, then the payout cash dividend out of capital profit can be exercised. I have created a separate video upon this question. A long answer questions has been there, so you can just check it on my channel. Next is what is criminal liability. Criminal liabilities are those which arise because of offences against the statutory positions. These may emerge because of criminal neglect, actual frauds, or conspiracy of the auditor, or gross neglect of the some provisions of the Companies Act. Next is discuss the types of cost audit in brief. In this, the first is internal audit and second is external audit. Internal audit means it is an audit program which is conducted by the persons who belongs to the organization. And external audit, it is conducted by the external person who is not in the regular employment of the organization. Next is discuss the working method of management audit in brief. In this, the first is inquiry, which means the team of management audit should go on to the conduct of inquiry. Second is correlation. The auditor should correlate the information collected by them in the course of in the course of inquiry. Third, observation. The management auditor should also have to rely upon the observations made by them in the process of auditing. Fourth, examination. It may be required to examine the records and documents of the enterprise. And the fifth is confirmation. The team of auditors should confirm the oral and written statements which help them in arriving at conclusions and drafting the report. Next is state the objectives of management audit. First is to determine the efficiency of management. Second, to check whether the actual plans are with the standard plans or not. Third, to review the organization structures and identify the weaknesses. Fourth, to determine the overall standard of the management performance. And the fifth, to help in establishing effective relationship with the outside person. Next is write a short note on a cost audit. You can just take a view of it that how the objective of management audit is being done off. As far as the writer short, what does the planning of cost audit is concerned about? What does the planning of cost audit is concerned about? You can ask this question in the form of write a note on planning on cost audit also. So what does the planning of cost audit is concerned? There are total 5 points which needs to be taken into consideration, in which first is records of raw material and other goods, second records relating to labor, third records of overheads, fourth depreciation, and fifth is work in progress. Next is what is interim audit. If a company wants to give an interim dividend to their shareholders to create its goodwill, it becomes necessary to get interim audit of the accounts done up to date at which the company wants to declare the interim dividend. This is the fact of the matter as far as the interim audit is being concerned of. Next is what is the importance of audit report. Importance of audit reports are for the shareholder, for the government, for the management, for the income tax authority, for the cooperative society, sole trading business, partnership firm. These all have separate importance of audit report. But basically what are the importance of audit report is as follows. First is it is an opinion for books of account. Second, it is based upon forecasting and assumptions. Third, it may be criticized. And fourth, in this option may be given, in this the opinions may be given, so the importance of audit report is explained by me in separate video. You can just check on my channel also. Difference between investigations and auditing. If we ask about its meaning, then investigation means in-depth examinations and study of hidden facts, technical clause, and financial situations of the business is referred as investigation. And auditing means auditing reveals only the statement of PL and balance sheet of business shows actual results or not. Second point of difference is qualification. Investigation. It can be done by an experienced accountant, but in auditing it can be done only by a chartered accountant. Investigation, as far as the scope is concerned, investigation has wide scope and auditing has narrow scope. Next is name the two aspects of cost audit. The two aspects of cost audit is from the aspects of statute and from the aspects of spheres of actions. Next is classify the report on the basis of function. On the basis of function, the reports are classified into two parts. First is informative report, which means it is prepared and presented with the help of available informations at the maximum with regard to the situations. And second is interpretative report, which means it not only contains the fact, opinion and views, but also includes the causes for an event and required remedial actions. Next is difference between special audit and investigation. Meaning of the special audit is an audit other than the annual audit of accounts of the company called as special circumstances is called as special audit. And the meaning of investigation is a careful and detailed study of books of accounts to discover the truth is known as investigation. If we ask about its purpose, then special audit purpose is to provide assurance to the shareholders and other members regarding the reliability and accuracy of company annual financial statement, and the purpose of investigation is to determine what were the causes, who was the responsible, what action should be taken to correct the situations. If we ask about the scope of special audit, then its scope is broader because it has to answer many parties, and investigation scope is limited as it attempts to answer only asked questions. Next is difference between errors and frauds. If we talk about its meaning, then error means it refers to the offense by an inadvertent act, and meaning of fraud is it is done by knowingly by someone to in the sense of to cheat. Next is intention. Error's intention, its intention is to alter the financial information, and fraud intention is it is unintentionally act. It is not doing. It is been not done intentionally. It has been unintentional act. Error. Example of error is record deal that never happened. Record the deals of the company which has been never happened in the future or past of the company. But in example of fraud is the number of wrongly recorded of the number of wrong amount which is recorded in accounts. So this is a kind of an example of fraud. At last, can dividend be distributed from the capital? The answer for this question is according to the Companies Act, no dividend can be paid out of capital. It can only be paid out of current profit or from past undistributed profit arrived after charging the depreciation. If it is paid, then it means capital of shareholders are being returned back to shareholder in illegal manner. I have created a series of video of dividend also, you can just check on my channel. So this is the short answer question of auditing, and I have given each and every answer of each and every kind of question. This is the 50 questions which I have taken in front of you. So these are the 50 plus short answer questions of auditing with its perfect answer. So do write the answer as I have spoken each answer in front of you. Do like, share and subscribe my channel Manish Kumar on my important topics to get all important lectures regarding BCom. Thank you.